Okay. Hello, everyone that's here and everyone that will watch the recording afterwards. So this session that we're doing today is part of a drive that Debbie and I have had about the business of doing good business. And actually our interest is in purpose-driven business and helping businesses and building businesses that have a real good impact in the world, that consider all the stakeholders and really think about the impact as business that we have in the world. And obviously, when you look at that, the most important people in that process of building a purpose-driven business are the people that work in the organizations and the people that buy into the dream. So, and as we speak to people and we go around, and obviously there's a lot of stress, and I mean, as a business leader, I've been going through my fair amount of stress with COVID happening, and I have a lot of friends and people that I speak to that are really struggling. And then Suzi is our yoga teacher that have helped us, and I've joined in the last year, do a lot of breathing. And I've learned so much from yoga and just in managing myself and the state that I'm in to improve that so that I can be better at what I do in the rest of my life. And that's why Debbie had this idea and spoke to Suzi, and that we do this session on breathing. And breathing, one of those things that we got in our bodies and that actually has a lot of amazing potential and effect that a lot of us don't realize that we can actually use. So yeah, it's a privilege to have you here, and thank you, Suzi, for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. Love any opportunity to talk about yoga or breathing. So today is a conversation about breath, but at the same time, it is a conversation about the vagus nerve. Excellent. So what is the vagus nerve? It's the longest nerve from the cranium, and it comes all the way down, touching lots of parts in our body, all the way down to our gastrointestinal system. And it is through this vagus nerve that we can activate a relaxation response. So the vagus nerve sends messages through through the whole of the body, but at the same time, it also takes back information to the brain. So it is actually part of our main reason why we can regulate our breath. So the autonomic nervous system really does everything on its own. So it's your blood pressure, it is your digestion, and the workings of our brain just allow that all to happen. We don't have to think about any of it. But the one thing from the autonomic nervous system that we can ourselves change is our breathing. And we can use our breathing to change our state. And so that's really a huge power. It's like our secret superpower, being able to change the state that we're in. And I mean, if you change the state you're in, you can have much more control over the way you react to people, the way you react with people, the way you feel within inside yourself. And I mean, we all need that right now. We all always need it, but right now it's of huge interest. So that is the one side that I want to be touching on today. We're just going to learn a little bit about connecting to the breath. Then we will move into 2 breathing techniques that we can use to help with our COVID situation. So that's a little overview of what we'll be doing today.
Thanks, Suzi. So just to give everyone up to speed, I see a few more people have joined. So we're just going to have 1 or 2 questions to Suzi quickly, and then Suzi's actually going to take us through a breathwork session for half an hour, and then any Q&A at the end if anyone wants to stay behind and ask Suzi some questions. So Suzi, just quickly, I know you've just explained about the vagus nerve. So what is breathwork? I mean, basically for people who don't understand the term breathwork.
Breathing. So basically it is learning to use your breath to your advantage. So as I said, we can change our state with it. So we have different techniques that we use that'll energize, that'll balance, and that'll calm. And that is breathwork.
Okay, fabulous. And just quickly, I know you mentioned that it can move our state, because I mean, for many of us in leading businesses and expecting a lot of people to try and be innovative and creative. And I think being in that anxious state, it almost, you get stuck. So I think for Stefan and I, it's really about trying to explore basically the benefits. So what are the benefits of breath work?
Well, there's numerous benefits. There's loads of benefits, and it depends on what we're trying to change, what state we're trying to change. But for the times that we're living in now, and for the focus of your presentation today, it'll be to be able to control the state of anxiety. So, for instance, we can use our breath and certain breathing techniques to bring in a relaxation response in the body, and it can be almost immediate.
Okay, that is fabulous.
So that is one of the benefits, anxiety. But I mean, there are endless benefits. It depends on what we're doing, because it can also be energizing and stimulating. And in that way, when we do the energizing, stimulating breath, we're looking for a different thing. We're doing a different kind of breathing, and the end result will be different. Okay. But I think in the world we're living in today, the relaxation response is really what we need.
That's great. So I think I'm not going to ask too many questions. I think we should jump right into your session. Suzi's hopefully going to give us quite a few practical tips. We're going to do some exercises with her, so you can keep your cameras off and be relaxed. Stefan and I might keep our cameras off to keep her company, or switch them off. But I think over to you, Suzi. I think it'll be about half an hour. And then afterwards, as I said, you can stay and ask some questions. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Suzi.
All right. Great, thanks. So sitting any way that you like, what we really would like is for you to try and have a straight spine while you're sitting, or lying. If you prefer to lie down, you can actually lie down, but sitting. Otherwise, sitting in a comfortable position on a chair with the feet on the ground, or if you are sitting on the ground, just sitting so that you're comfortable. And I want you to make a fist. And I want you to tighten that fist, clench it. And what happened? What happened to your breath when you clenched your fist? Presumably, if you were paying attention, and we'll do it again, you would have found that you held your breath. Just slightly, maybe just briefly. So let's do it again. Clench your fist. And you'll notice there that you constricted the throat, perhaps. And maybe you even hold your breath a little bit. Okay. So do it again. Clench your fist. And now slowly start to loosen that, letting it soften a little bit. Notice what happens to your breath. So you should most likely have felt a release, a softness coming into the breath. So let's just do that again. Clench your fist tightly and slowly release the clench, and see if you notice that in your breath. And so think of your fist as your body. Think of that tightness in your body. Think of the stress that you might hold up in the neck, shoulder area, your throat, in your jaw, anywhere else that you personally might hold stress. And it's a similar thing. We often tend to hold our breath. Now, holding breath is another thing. We do that actively in breath work as well, but then we're doing it for a purpose. And we will actually do that a little bit today in one of our sessions. But I just wanted to demonstrate to you how being in a tight, stressed physical situation can make you hold your breath. Okay, so we want to try and relax as we breathe. So just move a little bit. Just move the shoulders a little bit, move the head a little bit. Maybe round the shoulders, pulling the back, and maybe open the chest, reaching forward, just moving yourself so you feel a little bit looser. Whatever it takes, shake a little bit, and then come back to sitting comfortably. All right. And now I'd like you to draw your awareness to your breath. And when I say draw your awareness, I'll probably be saying it a lot today. I mean, take your focus to, take your attention to, think about it. And we're breathing in and out through our nose. Breathing in and out through the nose is something that we should do as automatic. There are instances, and we will also do that today, where we breathe out through the mouth, but we're always going to breathe in through the nose. And just notice the breath. So notice how it feels to you this morning. Just breathing in and out through the nose. You don't have to change anything. Just take your focus there and see how it feels. Maybe it feels like it is high up in the chest. Maybe your tummy pulls in a little bit as you breathe. Maybe as you breathe in, your shoulders rise a little bit. Or maybe it's coming a little bit raspy or with a little bit of challenge. Maybe not. Maybe it feels easy. Maybe you feel the breath going deeply into the lungs. I want you to have your tongue on the palate behind your teeth, gently resting there. When you do that, then your tongue won't fall back into the throat, because if your tongue is just hanging loosely around the mouth, then it tends to soften backwards into the throat, blocking part of the airway. And that's why people snore, because at night they have their mouth open, their tongue falls all the way back, blocking the air passage, and that's why they snore. So keeping the tongue just behind the teeth on the palate. Breathing in and out through the nose. So as you're breathing in and out through the nose, I want you to start to notice that slight pause at the top of the breath. It's just a slight one. It happens automatically most of the time. And a slight pause again at the bottom of the breath. You don't have to change it. Just observe it as you breathe in and out through your nose. And now I want you to take your awareness to your chest. Feeling if the breath is high up in the chest. And seeing if you can take a long inhale. Feeling the chest expanding. And a long exhale, feeling the chest sink back down. And as you take that longer inhale, feel the ribs pushing out to the front. You can even bring your hands to your ribs. You can't see it so well. And feel the ribs moving as you breathe in. Feel them coming out to the front. And as you breathe out, feel them sinking back down. And then take your hands to the ribs on the side. And as you breathe in, feel the ribs expanding out to the side and to the front and sinking back down as you breathe out. I want you to bring your hands down to your tummy. And as you breathe in, your tummy should push out. It pushes out because we have a dome-shaped muscle. Our main muscle for breathing is the diaphragm, and it's just underneath the lungs. And as you breathe in and the lungs fill, so the diaphragm pushes down, pushing your tummy out. And as you breathe out, your diaphragm lifts back up. So breathing in, your chest expands, your tummy expands. Breathing out, they all sink back in. Feel that as you breathe. Breathing in, expansion. Breathing out, it's a softening. Are you lifting your shoulders as you're breathing in? Are you tightening the neck as you breathe in? We just want to keep it all soft. So we have our diaphragm working and our abs working. You're going to use the abs a little. They shouldn't be soft and floppy while we're breathing, but we do want that movement in the tummy. Breathing in through the nose. That expansion, and breathing out. Maybe even pull the diaphragm back up, pull the tummy in up, and release. Keep breathing in and out through the nose. Now, with this breathing in and out through the nose, I want you to extend the exhale. So see if you can take a longer exhale. Breathing in Noticing that pause. Breathing out, let everything soften. Take a long exhale. Keep going at your pace, doing a couple of these. Breathing in and breathing out. So maybe you can keep breathing while I talk and just keep it soft. Really get in the rhythm. Feel as if you're being breathed. Allow the breath to work within you. The breath wants to do this. So let it happen as you're just breathing in, a soft, expansive inhale. And then breathing out as you just let go. Breathing in and breathing out. Maybe you've noticed that your state is already softer, that maybe you already feel a little calmer. This breath, this breathing in and out through the nose, taking a long exhale, is a really calming breath. So another way to make this breath really calming when you're in a situation that is really quite anxious for you, if you're feeling anxiety coming on, and if you're someone who suffers from panic attacks, you feel a panic attack coming on before it really sets in. So it's advisable to start taking these breaths before the time. And so we're going to move from this awareness of the breath that we've been doing, just bringing you into real feeling of the breath moving in the body, feeling the physical movement as you breathe in and out through the nose. And we're going to take this to a breath which has got a double long exhale. So if you're breathing in for the count of 3, you'll breathe out for the count of 6. But this time we're going to breathe through pursed lips. So what are pursed lips? We're just going to bring out, we're going to breathe out through the mouth this time, and we're going to breathe like this. Almost like you're blowing out a candle, but without quite as much force, okay? It's a gentle, long breath out through the mouth. All right, so I'm going to get us to take a few quick breaths so that we can come out of this relaxed state that maybe we're in right now. I want you to really feel the effects of that breath that we're going to do for anxiety. So let's breathe in and out through the nose quickly. We're not going to worry about that pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. We're going to breathe in and breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And then we'll move into that pursed lips exhale. It's a 1-2 breath, breathing out for double the amount of the time that we breathe in. So let's go a little quicker now. Breathing in and out. Keep going. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out. And now take a breath in, a long, slow breath in through the nose. Pursed lips as you breathe out through the mouth. Bring your one hand to the heart. Breathe in. Breathe out through pursed lips. A long exhale. Breathe in. Long exhale. You can keep breathing like that if you like. We call that heart math breathing as well. The Institute of Heart Math is an institute that does a lot with heart research, and this breathing really reduces the heart rate. It brings us back into a state of coherence and mind-body balance, which again has got to do with the vagus nerve. And this breathing in through the nose and taking a really long exhale through the mouth with pursed lips, bringing the hand to the heart, which brings that heart-brain connection, is really, really beneficial. And if you're in a highly stressed situation, this is your first stop. This is your go-to when you're going into a meeting that's stressing you out, when you have a huge presentation to do and you've got to stand in front of people and speak to them, when the boss has called you in and you are standing outside that office about to step in the door, when you have are waiting for the results of a sales pitch you did, anything that is bringing you into a state of anxiety, pause, hand to the heart. And if it's not appropriate to bring your hand to the heart, don't. But if you can, bring your hand to your heart. And you take at least 3, but up to 10 breaths like that. Breathing in through the nose. And a double long exhale through pursed lips. So this technique can be taught to everyone. It's not just for business people. You can teach it to your kids before they go into a test or an exam, before they do a sporting event, if they are about to lose their temper on the playground. It works brilliantly. Breath is free. You need no equipment for breathing, and you can change your state. And by changing your state, you change your own interpersonal environment. And by changing that, you change the way in which you respond to a situation rather than react to a situation. You change the way that you interact to people around you. You change your whole view on your situation and the world around you. So this is your first stop, is taking that long exhale through the mouth. Breathing in always through the nose, always, and breathing out this time through pursed lips. So that one I'd like you to really take home with you and share it widely with everybody you know. There is always a situation in which someone can use this. All right, good. So if there are any further questions about that, you can ask me at the end. I'll be happy to answer any questions about that. I now want to move on to another breathing technique. This one is a balancing breath. And we're going to do a little bit of a hold in it, but it is also really, really, really good for helping in the recovery from people who have suffered from COVID. And it's called square breathing or box breathing. And by that, it gets its name because we breathe in, we hold the breath, we breathe out, and we hold the breath for equal lengths of time. So like a square. Okay. And we're going to be doing this all through the nose. I will explain in our next breath technique the reasons for breathing through the nose. But right now we're going to do equal breaths. We're going to start on breathing in, holding, exhaling, and holding for the count of 3. We'll move it up to 4. But then I encourage you, if you take this practice home with you, to take it up to 5 or 6 if you can. We should be practicing for about 10 minutes a day, ideally. Okay. So this is square breathing or box breathing. When you hold the breath, you must soften your shoulders. You must keep the neck soft. And I encourage you to even move your head a little bit, gently bobbing the head on the neck. So moving it a little bit. If you find it difficult to hold the breath, if holding the breath brings a little bit of anxiety to you, just gently nod the head side to side. So we're going to breathe in. I'm going to count you through it, and I might stop counting, but I'll keep guiding you through it. So always through the nose, not through the mouth. Taking a breath in, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. In, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Breathing in and pause. Breathing out and pause. Taking it up. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and pause, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, and pause, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and pause, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, and pause, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. And pause. Out. Pause. In. Pause. Out. Pause. One more time. In. Pause. Out. Pause. And breathing in and out again through your nose, gently and easily, whatever comes easily and comfortably to you. And just sit for a moment, close your eyes if your eyes are open, and just feel the effects of just this short little breathing practice that we did there. Noticing your state right now, noticing if you're finding already that the breathing is helping you to calm a little bit. Just feeling the effects on your body. So from here, we're going to move on to our next breathing technique. So this one, you got to get a little bit vocal. So I often suggest that we do a variation of it in the car. We also like you to do 10 minutes a day of this one. So often a trip is 5 to 10 minutes, and it's really quite easy to do it in the car, although you do have to adjust it because we do block off some of the senses in this breathing technique. So this one is also a really good one for COVID. It's good to do before and while recovering from COVID. So it is called bumblebee or hummingbee breath. Okay, it's actually a wonderful breath, and it's a really amazing. When we breathe in and out through the nose, and this is one of the main reasons that we breathe in through the nose, it's because our nasal cavities and our sinuses produce nitric oxide. And nitric oxide has many benefits to the body, but for the purpose of this right now, the main one we're looking at is the antiviral and antibacterial benefits of it. So this is like our own little nitric oxide factory in our face. And it is incredible to know that our bodies can actually do this and help us in such an amazing way. And I'm sure that you didn't know that before. So we want to increase this nitric oxide production. Breathing in through the nose does that. But then if you want to really spike that production, humming really makes the production of the nitric oxide spike. So if you get an increased production from breathing through the nose, you get a spike production of doing this humming. So it's really, really good to do. We want that antibacterial, antiviral effect in our body. So what are we going to do in this breath is we're going to breathe in through the nose and we're going to hum it out through the mouth. So we're going to do a little bit more, but this is just the humming. So we're going to breathe in and breathe out. Okay, so that was cut off for a little shorter. You're going to do the hum for as long as you can. Now, I know across Zoom, it doesn't always work to hear the whole hum. It's somehow at one point in the vibration, you can't hear it anymore. But it is a long hum, right? You don't stop dead like it might sound to you. You hum all the way until the bottom of the breath, and then we do it again. This breath is also really, really good for anxiety. And I will show you the part of it that is really good for anxiety, besides the humming, the little added extra. So if, as I said before, you feel that a panic attack is coming on, or you feel the anxiety coming on, and you have a place that you can go and sit on your own, or, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're sitting at your desk, you're welcome. You can teach everyone around you as well. but we want to block off some of the senses, and this really helps with the anxiety as well. So we take our index and middle finger and we gently block over the eyes. So you can close your eyes softly and gently block over the eyes. You're then going to use your thumbs to gently push in front of the ear, just to block off a little bit of the sense of sound. So you're not going to do anything hard, you're just going to block it off a little bit. So we'll be blocking off some of the sense of sight, and we'll be blocking at the same time the sense of hearing. So we're creating this little still point within you, and it really helps with the anxiety combined with the breath. So we are going to do that now. And obviously I said earlier on that it's really good to practice for 10 minutes a day. And I suggest in the car. Obviously you don't do this in the car. You're going to just do the humming if you're going to practice in the car. And that'll still give you the benefit of the nitric oxide, just not so much for the blocking off the senses. So I would like to just run us through 3 of those breaths to start with. And then we'll do another 2 maybe, depending on our time. So let us start. Let me just recap. You're going to breathe in through the nose and you're going to hum it out through the mouth. I want you to feel the vibration in the chest. And I want you to be very aware of any other sensations you feel. And then afterwards we'll sit and we'll feel again into our bodies. So let us do that. Let us take our index and middle fingers, gently blocking off the sense of sight. Take your thumbs, gently pushing in front of the ears, blocking off some of the sense of hearing. And in your own time, because we're each going to have a different length of time for our exhale. So you do your full exhale and take it as long as you can, and we'll do 3 breaths, starting now with a deep inhale through the nose, humming it out. And when you're done with your 3, keep your eyes closed, remove the hands, bringing them down to your lap, softening your shoulders, and just feeling that stillness, noticing any sensations, noticing what you felt in the body, emotionally, in your mind. Notice anything else that came up. Did you feel it more on one side of the body, or the throat, or the chest, or the other? Did you feel the vibration in the chest? Did you get that sense of calm? This is a deeply calming breath. So just sitting and enjoying the aftermath of the breathing. Just allowing the breath to breathe you. Knowing that this is a tool that we have that's free. It's available to everybody. You need to take no equipment along with you. And it can help you in any situation. It can calm you, it can bring balance, it can energize, and it can even take you into an altered state if we do the right breathing practices. So it can be transformational. So I think ending my practice and opening up for questions, perhaps just to hopefully have inspired you to look deeper into breathwork as this real magical tool that we all have available to us. And hopefully you felt my excitement over it. And I hope you all did the humming. I hope you all tested it. And if you didn't, then please do. Go quietly in your car and hum loudly.
Oh, thank you so much, Suzi. What a privilege to have you with us today. It's just incredible. I think Steph and I are so lucky to have you as our yoga teacher, so we get to experience this on a regular basis. Just before I open up for questions.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Before I open up for questions, you are welcome to put on your cameras or just raise your hand or unmute your mic. But just an observation from my side is one, it's just so incredible to have free practical tools to use with our teams and for ourselves. And secondly, if you're not okay, I know Kirsty used to say this a lot, if you're not okay, the world around you is not okay. So number one, look after yourself and the teams around you. I think today, where we are so forced to think out of the box and to open up space for innovative thinking and to shift our businesses in new directions, I mean, you cannot do that from a state of being stuck or anxious. And I think it's going to be really strange, but it would be wonderful if you can start introducing some of these techniques into your teams before you start these hectic meetings, and to really open up our thinking. So I think, awesome. I'm going to open up the floor. If anyone wants to say anything or ask questions, just unmute yourself. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Suzi.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Suzi. I really enjoyed that.
Good, thank you.
I wanted to ask you about with the box breathing. I found I could either like close my throat to hold my breath at the top, or I could just not exhale, which is a different sensation in my shoulders.
Yes.
Does that make a difference?
Yes, you should relax the shoulders. So you shouldn't really be closing off anything. When you're holding that breath at the top, you should be in a relaxed state as you're holding it. So if you're using any of the accessory muscles in the throat or the neck as you're holding, try and relax. That's why if you actually move the head a little bit, it helps until you come into it without having to try as much. Just a gentle pause. That's why I think I try and use the word pause, so that one doesn't hold, because hold sounds tense and pause just sounds, just stop for a little bit. So yes, you will get used to it. If you do this practice regularly, you will soften into it. So try not to tense any muscles as you're holding. Just allow it to pause. Okay, does that help?
Yes, thanks.
Pleasure. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Sorry.
You can go, Deborah.
Okay, thank you. I just have a short question. I know a few people who have difficulties breathing through their nose because it's very often closed, not just if they're sick, but in general. What can you recommend? Just trying it out, or
yes,
another?
Well, starting the practice. You need to start doing it to improve it. So there are some other things that you can get like washing out the nose. So in yoga, you have what they call a neti pot, which actually you pour saline solution in and it comes out the other side.
Yeah.
So obviously most of you aren't going to do that, but we can get nasal sprays. And I think to start that process, you can help clear out the nose like that. But then regular practice will help, definitely will help. But breathing through the mouth is incredibly unhealthy to do. Breathing in and out through the mouth. If you would like to know more about this, I can highly recommend a book called Breath by James Nestor. They did an experiment, a little test. It wasn't like a site, it was just two of them doing it, and they did a 2-week test for some professor, and where they had to breathe through the mouth. They actually physically pegged their nose or whatever, sealed their nose off for 2 weeks. And in that time, I mean, it's incredible what happened to their health. And then they did the reverse. They breathed only through the nose. So practice is what helps. It might be really difficult to do all the time. And you can actually, they actually tape their mouth. So this is what people do for snoring as well. If you snore at night, you can take a little piece, like a piece like this, over your lips of micropore or transpore. Just unsticky it a little bit on your hand so it's not quite as sticky, and just stick it over your lips at night to help you to breathe through the nose. Just that will be incredible, because most people who snore and then they snore themselves awake, they've been not breathing, they've been in sleep apnea, and which means that you're actually not breathing, and it's incredibly unhealthy. You can also get something, it's not available here, where it is a sort of like a square with a hole in the middle and it's stretchy. And this is for people who are sort of very anxious, or for kids, or for claustrophobia, where you can't have something over your mouth. And then they put it around the mouth. So it's a sticker that goes all the way around the mouth, and you stretch it and you put it on, and then it just pushes your mouth a little bit closed. So you can still speak, you can drink, you can do everything, but it just it trains the muscles closer to stay closed. So taping the mouth, you can even tape the mouth in the day. Make yourself breathe through the nose. It'll be difficult, but that's what I suggest. Yeah, practicing.
Oh, thank you so much, Suzi. Thanks, Deborah. I see here Tony says, fantastic tool. Burnout is very prevalent and manifests itself as hypertension, which starves the brain of oxygen. And Tony says he definitely plans to practice these breathing techniques, so he appreciates your teaching.
Brilliant, wonderful. And there's so much more in breathwork as well. These were 3 techniques. So yeah, please carry on practicing. These are very important techniques to have. And talking of carbon dioxide, we actually need to build up a carbon dioxide tolerance within us. It allows our body to actually absorb more oxygen. So we do breath hold practice as well, but that's a whole different episode.
Thank you, Suzi. Any more questions? And before Stefan closes us off? Okay, it sounds like we're all good. Stefan, do you want to say a final last few words?
Yeah, thank you very much, Suzi. Yeah, I can testify it's been one of the most amazing things in my life since I started yoga with you, and being more mindful about breathing. And I wish it's something I discovered a lot earlier. So yeah, just with that in mind, and obviously there's so much more to learn, and we keep on learning. So if people are interested in doing more, what do you recommend? Do you have classes that people can join? Where can they get more help or more teaching about this?
All right, so I see there was a message there. Someone asked for the book name again. It's called Breath by James Nestor. And I think if you hurry booked in, might have some. They did have some last week because I ordered for some people. And so maybe there is still a copy there. So besides yoga classes, I do a Wednesday morning class from 7 to 7:45, which is breathwork, meditation, and gentle yoga. So it's mainly breathwork and meditation. And we do give workshops, like not on a regular basis, for breathwork. Actually, I have one this Saturday. I can share the link with you. It is at 1 o'clock. It'll also be on Zoom. It'll be an hour practice. And we will start doing regular practices that people can join, where we all just come together and breathe, and we'll do different techniques and different themes. And currently that is what we have available, but it will become more and more regular as we, have more people who show interest in it.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, if we have those links, Devi can put them with a post in the recording, so people can go back there to find it. Thank you so much, Suzi, and thank you everyone else for attending. I think all of us learned a lot, and yeah, I would like to encourage you to keep on exploring. I think the principle is, as human beings, the better our personal status, the better decisions we can take, the better human interaction we can have, and the better the impact is that we have in the world around us. So it's worth breathing for. Thank you.
100%. Thank you so much for inviting me.